We found ourselves where we're almost out of firewood for the maple syrup season. We've really only done 1.5 boils. Looks like we maybe have, with the weather, depending if it holds, maybe 2 more boils left. So I gotta get out here, and I've got a bunch of logs on the ground that were from the log cabin build that I need to buck up and get split. At least buck them up. Katie can split them. She likes doing that. So I'm gonna get out here today and get going with the chainsaw. That chain's pretty dull. Time to swap it out. Oh, yeah, should have did this like maybe last May or June. Everything's frozen to the ground. I brought two of my chains out here, and both of them were dull within the first minute of cutting. But I've got a bunch bucked up that we can throw. I'll go throw them on the wood splitter right now. Some of them are pretty big and heavy. So I'm going to spend the next hour or two splitting. And then hopefully we'll have enough for at least 1 or 2 more boils. Alright, so I'm out here down at the sugar shack today. Katie was out here all day boiling sap, and we're trying to shut things down for the night. It's about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. Still got a pretty good fire going in the firebox. Got maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch of what is near syrup in the pan right now. Katie's guesstimating 3 to 4 gallons of syrups in the pan. And I'm just going to sit down here and watch the fire die out and make sure that we don't scorch the pan. So what we do to test our depth and whatnot, got a little strainer here, and it's about 1 inch. Place it down in there. We can kind of measure that this is about 1 inch deep right now. So I'm just going to try to keep it somewhere around 1 inch deep and let the fire die out. I'll do a quick little sugar shack walkthrough, kind of show you how our operation runs. So up in the woods, we collect the sap from barrels up in the woods. We've got a transfer pump. We pump it into the back of this little 30-gallon barrel here. We drive it down to the sugar shack, and we pump it from the back of the quad into these storage barrels here. From these storage barrels, we use a metal bucket, dip in, and grab a bucket full, take it over here, set the bucket on top as kind of a pre-warmer, and then every now and again we dump the bucket in, and we'll refill that bucket. keep the pan level high. We've got the wood that we're drawing from right now is all right there, so we'll just walk over there, grab some. We bring it down here to help dry it out a bit because it is kind of green and wet. And yeah, we got our little strainer over there on the wall that we use to scoop the muck out and measure the depth. And then we got our little shelf that we hold our beers and whatnot on. No electricity down here, so we do things by headlamp and lantern. But it seems to work out okay. And yeah, that's kind of how we run our operation. Then we'll drain the pan. Usually take it back to the house to finish it on the turkey fryer and bottle it. So even though we have a continuous flow pan, we don't use it like one. It's not welded the best, and it doesn't keep the different chambers separate from each other as well as it should. So we use it, we batch boil out of it. So we will fill the pan up with sap over the course of a few days, boil it down, and then drain it all off in one big batch and take it onto the turkey fryer to finish it. In order to do that, you need the firebox to be cool. Make sure there's no heat retained in the fire bricks, because as soon as you drain the pan, if you put it back on and there's heat in there, you can run the risk of scorching the bottom of your pan if you're a little too slow in adding water or sap back in the pan. So we try to make sure everything's nice and cool by the time we get around to actually draining the pan off. Okay, so getting to the point where we're going to start drawing off. It's looking real syrupy in this pan. It's about a ½ inch deep in the front and 3/4 of an inch deep towards the rear. The firebox is cooling down. The pan's still steaming a little bit, but I think it's safe now that I can drain it off. So to drain our pan off, maybe there's an easier way to do it, I'm not sure, but the way we do it is kind of convoluted. I take a log or a board or something, and I put it under this back corner. It gets the syrup moving forward. Open up and let it start filtering out. Take another log once the syrup kind of moves through the pan. I'll take another log over here to lift it up that way, so it goes more towards the outlet again. So the setup I've got going down here, it's 3 pre-filters. So I would expect one of them will get clogged here pretty soon, and I'll pull it off, and then we'll have 2. We filter once coming out of the pan, and then we'll filter again when we throw it into the pot for the turkey fryer. And then we filter it, do a final filter, obviously, when we are actually finishing our syrup. I'm going to get a bucket of sap ready just in case. I don't think it's going to scorch. Man, I would hate to be the guy to have to explain that to my wife. Alright, so this filter is fairly well filled and not draining as good as it should. Ow, that's hot. Ooh, that's maple syrup. Ooh, that's good. That tastes good. This might be a batch that we keep. It's funny because every batch tastes just a little bit different. I don't know if it'll come out on camera, but that is all sugar sand right there. That clogs up the filters. can't see what I'm doing. I hope I'm hitting the pan. Boom. Call that done. Just gonna throw a bucket of sap in here just to cool everything down, make sure nothing's sticky. Sacrifice one bucket to the gods. So you can see this is my last filter that I have, and it is fairly well clogged. It's hardly draining through there, so I'm gonna have to monkey with this and get that last little bit drained out so I can go back home and go to bed. Oh boy, that's good. Katie thought maybe we had 3 to 4 gallons of syrup in that pan. This is a 10-gallon bucket, and it is filled up to about 4.5 gallons. So that's going to make things a whole lot easier on the turkey fryer, which is awesome. And we are done.